Hi, everybody. I chose Alzheimer's disease as my speech topic today. Alzheimer's disease is a neurological disorder where brain cells die, causing sufficient memory loss. The disease usually starts off mild and progressively gets worse. There are numerous tests to help doctors diagnose the disorder. The doctor may test the patient's balance, reflexes, and senses, as well as even send out the patients for blood and urine samples. A brain scan could also be in the cards, for example, like an MRI or an EEG scan. Alzheimer's is the most common cause of dementia. Scientists believe that Alzheimer's disease results from a combination of factors, including genetic, environmental, and lifestyle. But the causes of Alzheimer's are not yet completely understood. As more brain cells die, Alzheimer's disease can lead to a large increase in brain shrinkage. There are two inclusions found in the nerve tissue in the brain, and doctors are considering them to be a cause. They are called plaques and tangles. Plaques are chunks of protein that may damage and destroy brain cells. And tangles are another type of protein, but they tangle up between the brain neurons, which can lead to failure of communication between the neurons. In the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, the only symptoms you may see are forgetfulness or confusion. But over time, the ability to remember things starts to become a challenge, especially with recent memories. This may result in repetitive questions, forgetting events, or misplacing items. Other symptoms may include impaired speaking, reading, and/or writing, changes in personality and behavior, inability to recognize faces or common objects, difficulty in completing certain tasks. The progression of Alzheimer's disease can be broken down into three basic stages. Stage 1, preclinical, Stage 2, mild cognitive impairment, and Stage 3, dementia. Preclinical is the earliest stage of Alzheimer's. No symptoms may even be visible at first, but the normal signs are frequent memory loss, repeated questions, some coordination problems like using certain objects or writing with pens or pencils. They also usually need reminders of daily events and activities. Mild cognitive impairment is the second stage of Alzheimer's disease. They're no longer able to cover up their problems. Persistent memory loss occurs. Rambling, speech, and confusion may even occur. Likely to get lost in a familiar place. Experience delusion, aggression, and uninhibited behavior. Slowness in mobility and coordination, which then they become rigid and they may experience tremors. Dementia is the final stage, but the hardest. They become confused almost all the time, lose ability to remember, communicate, or process information, severe or total loss of verbal skills, incapable of caring for oneself, falls are likely to occur, as well as immobility, problems with swallowing, incontinence, and frequent illness. Extreme problems with behavior and mood, hallucinations and delirium may even occur. In this stage, the person will need 24/7 supervision and intensive care. A nursing home may be your best bet. There is no known cure for Alzheimer's disease. Drug therapy only works for some patients, and it helps for a period of time. Some types of medication include Aricept, Rosidine, Exelon, and Nameta. Other treatments may include creating a safe environment, exercise, and a healthy nutritional diet. A healthy nutritional diet would include healthy nutrition shakes, juices, lots of protein and veggies. Now that I feel like I just gave a science lesson, I'm going to give an example of my first-hand experiences and give your brain a little break for a little bit. Alright, so I've already told you guys that I work in a nursing home. So I see Alzheimer's disease firsthand and dementia patients. I have to say that it is very sad and a very sad thing to watch, and I've seen some residents who are living stress-free, caring for oneself, and I've watched them get progressively worse over time, even all the way down to dementia. My job requires a lot of hands-on care, so I get to spend a lot of time with my residents, and I've gotten to know a lot about them. The way they look, the way they dress, their habits, what they like to do, and I feel like that's key to my work. At my job, I mostly work second shift, which is usually 3:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. As my coworkers and I have realized, most of the residents that reside on the first floor tend to act out at nighttime. It ranges all the way from them getting out of bed and wandering down the hallway to them screaming from their bed, telling us to get that man in the corner out of their room. Their behavior can get very bad and even combative, but the way I see it, I think that they get combative because I think that they are just very confused and disoriented, and I feel that they feel hopeless because they don't understand. I actually have a freaky story to share. Okay, so one night I was at work and I was getting one of my residents ready for bed, and she was sitting in her rocking chair and I was standing in front of her, grabbing her nightgown, and she kept looking like behind me, like over here, and I was like starting to freak me out a little. And then finally she said, "There's a man in here. He's standing over there in the corner." And I turned around as fast as I could to make sure that there really wasn't a man in the room. And that's a perfect example of a patient with Alzheimer's because she was experiencing a hallucination. Here's a picture. One of my residents, her name is Madeline, and that is my coworker Jessica last Easter. Madeline has progressively got worse since last Easter. She used to get herself up, get dressed, go down to breakfast, get herself ready for bed, all that good stuff. She was pretty much independent. But now she's almost 24/7 intensive care. She's incontinent. She needs reminders to go down to breakfast and lunch and dinner. She's still walking with a walker, but I feel she'll be landing in a wheelchair sometime soon. She's very forgetful. I thought that she was a pretty good example because I watched this disease slowly take over everybody, and it's very sad. This disease is very sad and hard to deal with, and I think that if you're going through this and you know somebody who's going through this, just be patient and just accept that this is a part of life. And I know it's not fair, but you know what they all say, life isn't fair. But I want to thank you guys for giving me all of your time, your eyes, and your ears, and I hope that you feel a tiny bit more educated after watching this. Alright, good night everybody.